So this next video talks about basic animation. Let's get into it. The animation window can be found under Window, Animation, and then Animation. You can also get to it with Control-6. And to begin animating anything, just select an object. So one of the things I like to animate is I like to just build like a fan. So here's a cube. We'll place it here. We'll make it very thin, quite a bit taller. And maybe we'll duplicate it as well. So we get something like this. So I'll find a different material for these blades. And we don't want to animate a single cube or animate each cube to animate there. I'd rather animate a parent. So I'm going to hit F to focus on the center of all of these, create an empty at that location, and call this parent game object a fan. And then I'll just draw the 3 cubes as children of that fan. And if you needed to, hide these lines, or if you thought it was going to flash, or if you thought that didn't look right, we could always hit F, create a 3D object like cylinder, rotate it, scale it down, something like that, and then maybe a little bit bigger. And that looks a lot better. So we'll just drag that to be a child of the fan too. So I will select the parent game object, the empty game object named fan. I'll go to my animation, and to begin animating fan, create an animator and an animation clip. It'll ask you, where do you want to save this? And I want to save this just here. I'll call this fan spin. And all we have to do is hit record and make some changes. Now the first change that we make is going to be set wherever the playhead is. So if we make a change here, and then if we make another change here, we can hit play and watch those changes happen, and it will snap back to the original one. So if it's something that's just simple and it's spinning, what I like to do, so let's click and drag to select all of these, hit delete, and set the playhead out to 1 second, which is 60 frames. So you can type 60 in here, you can type 120 to go to 2 seconds. You can use a scroll wheel to zoom in and out. And over the course of 1 second, or 60 frames, we are going to animate this to go 360 degrees. I'm going to hold Control down and click and drag until that yellow circle is completely filled. And what we'll see now is this. So 2 things. It's a little bit too fast, and it also comes to a stop and then starts again, which I don't like. So let's tackle the going too fast first. If we select all of these, or even if we selected just the last one, we can drag this out to something like 2 seconds and watch it rotate slower. So I think I like the speed of that. Now let's tackle the other thing. So at the bottom of the animator, we can switch from dope sheet to curves. And you can see in the curve editor, we zoom out, that these are smoothly starting and smoothly stopping. And for most animations, that's exactly what you want. But for us, we want to select these ending nodes and the beginning node. We're going to right click, and under both tangents, we're going to set linear. And we'll do the same to the other one. Both tangents, linear. And now it immediately starts rotating and then immediately goes back. And if we zoomed out more in this, you'd see that it zooms and then immediately on the same frame rotates back to 0 and then rotates 360 and then back to 0, and it just keeps looping like that. So what does this look like now? We'll hit play. And we've got a smooth fan rotation. Make sure that you remember to turn record off. So we'll do one more animation, and the one more animation will just be a platform that goes to the top, waits for a little bit, and goes to the bottom and waits for a little bit. Say we wanted to get on top of this roof here. So I'm going to build a 3D object cube. I'm going to set its size to 3 by 0.5 by 3. Let's maybe change it down to 0.3. So, to begin animating cube 1, create an animator and an animation clip. All right, create elevator. And so, turn record mode on. Let's move this out to 1 second and just drag this up. And we can use, vertex snapping to snap it to exactly that spot. And you might notice, I'm going to do that one more time. There are no keyframes here. There's not one at 0. There's not one at 1 second. There are no keyframes. And when I bring the playhead out to 1 and start making changes, it will set the initial keyframe to wherever it was and smoothly go up to wherever you want it to be at 1 second. So we'll show this, goes to the top. So I again think that's a little bit too long, too quick. So I'm going to change this out to 2 seconds. You can middle mouse click and drag to scrub through your playhead. And then over the course of 2 seconds, this moves much slower. And I like that. Now I want it to stay there. So I'm going to select this keyframe at 2 seconds. And I'm going to press Control-C to copy. I'm going to move it to 3 seconds. And press Control-V to paste. And then I want it to go back down to where it originally was. So I'm going to copy the first keyframe on frame 0. Copy it. Go out to 5 seconds. And paste. And then because I want it to wait for a little bit, I'm going to go out to 6 seconds and paste it again. So all my keyframes in total, I have start at the bottom, and we can scrub through it this way. Let's see if I can scroll up and get it all in frame. Okay, so at 0, we're at the bottom. We zoom up to the top, and we wait. And then we smoothly go back down to the bottom, and we wait. And then it repeats. So let's see if we can turn record mode off and hit play and see if we can use this to go up and down in our game. So I'll jump on and it pushes me up smoothly and I walk off and it goes back down. And it's impossible to see because it's the same color. So let's pick a better color for this. Let's pick yellow. And one of the things that I do just to add a little bit more realism to this is I will add little bars that it would be, manipulated by. Up off, down, and smoothly back up, and back down. So bars that I would build. I would build a 3D object cube, and I would set its size to, 0.2, 0.2, 0.2. Maybe 0.3, because that's the size of my platform. And I'll just snap these to the corner. But then I'll stretch them to be, maybe 4 meters tall. That looks pretty good. And I'll duplicate that to there. And then I'll duplicate both of these to that corner. And you see this this phenomenon here? It's called texture flashing, and it's not great. And it means that the renderer doesn't know whether to show the yellow or whether to show the white. And so we're just going to take these and we're just going to scale them all down a little bit. And then we're just going to leave them like that. And so now it looks like the elevator is going up and down these bars here, and there's still room for me to hop on and rise to the top and then rise to the bottom. And I think I would like it a little bit more if these four were a little bit higher so that you could still see them when you got off. Maybe we could raise it up quite a bit. I don't think it would hurt anything. So we've got some spinning, we've got some elevators. You can take your animations to whatever level you need to in order to get cool things to happen. One of the other things I like to do, if I'm not using an FPS controller, I can animate things to just go all over the place. So let's do one more, right? So let's say that I want to have some sphere just flying around the map. Maybe I'll add some kind of like trail renderer to it. We'll set the tail width to 0. We'll make sure that it actually has a material like Sprite's default, and then we'll give it some kind of interesting tail. And so it's going to fly around our scene like this. So how are we going to animate it? Create animation. I don't know. Flying ball. Set the initial animation. So I'm going to zoom out a little bit and set the first one to 2 seconds. And I'm just going to move it from here over to there. And then at 4 seconds-ish, I'm going to have it move over here. 6 seconds, it's going to move here. And the problem you're going to run into, so at 8 seconds, remember to set it back to the original one. So just copy the first frame and paste it on the 8th frame. That way it loops seamlessly. So let's hit play and see what happens. So it runs, and it runs, and it runs. And that's what it does. I don't know how I got it to do the custom animation. If I go to my curve sheet, so if we look at the curves, you can see the blue is going to be the z-axis. The green is the y-axis, so it doesn't move up and down at all. If we wanted to, we could just increase the curve here and just mess with all sorts of things. We want it to loop, so we'll leave it there. But we can even come in here and mess with the Bezier curves of this so that it's smoothly goes however we want it to. So if we have a look at our trail renderer now, and if we watched it from a little bit, vertical like this, we can see the Y value go up and down. We can have it actually sink below 0 for a little bit if we wanted to, but we don't. That's silly. And then maybe this one here is a little bit weird. And we can actually offset all of these so they don't happen on the same frame. As long as these three and these three end up in the same spot, it will loop seamlessly. And so if we hit play, we can just watch this thing float around. Cool, right? Anyway, that's the basic animation.